Okay, so we are starting our new unit today. This is Unit C, Disease Defense and Human Health. Our first chapter is Chapter 9, which is just called Disease, and 9.1 is called Causes of Human Disease. All right, so why is this unit important? Well, every year many people get sick or they die from diseases that could have been prevented. So knowing about the causes and spread of disease can help you make better decisions about taking care of your health. So what is disease? It's an illness which prevents the normal functioning of the body. And in the past, people thought diseases were caused by various spirits or gods, and some people still actually hold those ideas. But science, and because of the invention of the microscope, scientists like Louis Pasteur and Robert Koch found and identified microorganisms known as microbes. And it's these microbes that cause disease. So any microbe that causes disease are called pathogens or germs. All right, so the definition for a pathogen is it's a disease-causing microbe. Okay, and most pathogens are microscopic and they include bacteria, viruses, fungi, and protists. There are other causes of disease as well. So some diseases are caused by a poor environment, so like air pollution and water pollution. So specifically, for example, air pollution, it can cause damage to the lungs because you're breathing in that poor air quality. So people who live in a polluted area may develop lung disease. Other diseases are genetic. For example, a genetic disease here, muscular dystrophy, which causes progressive weakness of the muscles. That is a genetic disease. And then other diseases may come from a combination of factors that can include the environment, your diet, your lifestyle, your genetics, pathogens, and stress. So for example, you may get sick if you're worried about something. So for example, if you're worried about a relationship. So often when people are stressed, they eat poorly, they may stop exercising. So that diet and lifestyle choice that they make combined with the stress in their life can make them more likely to get sick. All right, these two pictures are just showing a couple those scientists I talked about. So in the 1800s, French winemakers were getting upset because their wine kept turning to vinegar. So this guy here, Louis Pasteur, he discovered using a microscope a microbe that was causing the spoilage. So he heated the grape juice to kill the microbes, and this technique is still used today. It's called pasteurization. So a lot of the milk we drink, some juices, etc., go through this process of pasteurization. Here we have Robert Koch, and he identified the pathogen that causes anthrax. And he discovered that a pathogen could spread from a sick person to a healthy person. And again, he's also using a microscope. So we're going to talk about bacteria first. So bacteria, they are microscopic, so you have to use a microscope to see them. They are one-celled organisms, meaning they're only made up of one cell, not multicellular, and they can either be beneficial or harmful or neither. So they're found everywhere. They're found on your skin, in your mouth, in the air that we breathe, in the food that we eat. They are very, very small, so you do need a microscope to see one. So some bacteria are beneficial to humans. For example, yogurt, it's made from milk and a bacterium that causes the milk to go sour. You'll also find bacteria in our intestines that are there to make some vitamins for us. And other bacteria are harmful to humans and can cause disease and spoil food. Both the harmful and helpful kinds of bacteria, they're able to reproduce very, very quickly and form colonies when conditions are good. So what kind of environment do bacteria need to be able to reproduce very, very quickly? First one is temperature. Most bacteria are active at warm temperatures. So if we refrigerate or freeze, for example, our food, it slows down bacterial growth. And then bacteria will die when the temperatures get too high. So for example, cooking the food to a certain temperature. Moisture. Bacteria need water, and most bacteria cannot reproduce without water. Food. Bacteria thrive on sugar, protein, or fats. Next, we're going to talk about viruses. So viruses, they are microscopic, they are non-cellular, and they are disease-causing agents. They're found anywhere there are cells to infect. They are much smaller than bacteria, and they reproduce by taking over the cells in the body. All right, so they take over the cells in the body and use the body's cells to reproduce. They use the part of the body cell that usually is used to reproduce cells, and they're using it in their own way now to multiply their own numbers. So the number of viruses will quickly multiply, and then they invade other body cells. All right, here is a virus, a diagram of a virus here. This is the HIV virus that causes AIDS, and it kind of looks like a bomb. It's a virus that flows through the bloodstream of infected individuals. And an infected person may contaminate the blood of an uninfected person in these ways here by having sexual intercourse, sharing intravenous needles, receiving a transfusion of infected blood, or moving through the birth canal of an infected mother. So a baby can get it from the mother. And next are protists. These are also single-celled organisms, and these actually share characteristics with both animals and plants. And some of these protists can cause serious disease, such as malaria. So two common protists you may have heard of are amoeba and the paramecium. Some protists can cause serious diseases, like I said, malaria. Another one, African sleeping sickness. Another one, amoebic dysentery. So the way malaria is spread, it's spread by mosquitoes, and sleeping sickness is spread by these flies. Amoeba can be picked up from contaminated water or food. And there's a protist in water and in intestines. It's called Giardia. It lives in the intestines of infected humans or animals, and it also may be found in water, food, soil, or surfaces that have been contaminated with feces from infected humans or animals. So if you drink that contaminated water or that food, then you can become infected. So to prevent getting Giardia, it's very important that you drink only safe water. And since Giardia can also be spread on your hands, it's very important that you wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water after using the toilet and before you handle or eat food. All right, so this is a picture here of a protist, the protist Giardia, most common protist in the world. In Canada, it's also called beaver fever because beavers often carry it and spread the protist. All right, fungi is next. Fungi or fungus. These are organisms that live off of dead and decaying organisms, or they are parasitic on living organisms. So fungi include molds, yeast, and mushrooms, and they are not plants. Okay, they do not make their own food by photosynthesis, so they are not plants. Some fungi are parasites and can live only on host organisms. So a parasite it's an organism, it's a living organism that they have to get their nourishment from a host organism. They cannot live independently. Other fungi like mushrooms, we usually eat and put on our pizza or salads or whatever, but others can cause disease. For example, athlete's foot and ringworm. These are two fungi that live on the body. So this is just a diagram showing athlete's foot. It's caused by a fungus that lives on the skin. It breeds under warm, moist conditions, such as those found in sweaty socks and shoes. So to prevent it, make sure you're wearing proper footwear so that your feet can breathe. So wear sandals or slippers in places as well if you're in change rooms with showers. All right, so there is a video here for you to watch. The link is right here on what are pathogens, and it'll go through those pathogens we've talked about: bacteria, viruses, protists, and fungi. And then these are the questions for you to work on today for 9.1, page 162, numbers 1 to 4.